You ain't tell me it was gonna be like this. These ain't no terrorists.
We got a rat, man.
Does anybody else know about me?
No one knows your identity.
Are you sure?
We educate, we nurture, we feed, and we lobby. Perhaps we're here for more than just war with these bodies. We scream, and we shout, and we live by this anthem. But it's power to the people really worth their ransom.
When I dedicated my life to people, I dedicated my life.
You get to go out there and talk about dying a revolutionary death because you don't have another person growing inside your body.
Anywhere there's people, there's power.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Movie Buffers. Tonight we are going to be analyzing more than reviewing Judas and the Black Messiah. And I say that we're going to be analyzing it and really talking about the history of it more so than the review of it. The review of it is that it was amazing, it was great acting, it was just an amazing movie. Yes, you should watch this. It should be required watching for a lot of people. Black, white, any ethnicity. It is just a really good piece of American history that should be known. But this review may be a little longer than usual, or my analysis, so let's get to it. This movie is based on true events, true people, true history of America, not just Black America, but America. Judas and the Black Messiah is a 2021 American biographical drama film directed and produced by Shaka King from a screenplay written by Shaka and Will Berson. It's based in Chicago. The film details the betrayal of Fred Hampton, chairman of the Black Panther Party in the late 1960s, at the hands of William O'Neill, an FBI informant. The two main characters, Fred Hampton, was played by Daniel Kaluuya, and William O'Neill was played by Lakeith Stanfield. A Fred Hampton biopic had been in the works for several years, yet finally this one met with the blessings of the Hamptons family. So let's start with the true history of this movie, the Black Panthers. For years, as we have dealt with the brutal killings of Black children such as Trayvon Martin and the innocent men such as George Floyd and so many others, I screamed at no one in particular, where are the Black Panthers? We got KKK, Proud Boys, and all this running around amok. Where the hell are the Black Panthers? Where is the one group from history who stood up for the Black plight, who served breakfast to children so they could focus on school, who taught real Black history to the community so they could understand who they truly are and where they came from? They carried guns because the ones who were out to kill us, the police, also carried guns. So it was in defense. We had to stand up against them in arms. Just like the whites who feel that blacks are taking their livelihood, the Black Panther Party knew that white supremacists had day jobs, and most of them were cops, or the leaders of cops, or of course in politics, as we all know if you turn on the TV for 2 seconds. Now these white supremacists seem to feel that Black men should be killed. They should be killed specifically for taking their land, for stealing their white women, and for taking away their God-given right, white rights, or whatever. All the faults of the white man is laid solely on Black people, and eventually expanded out to every non-Anglo-Saxon. So the Black Panthers took up arms to defend their community. Let me say that again. Black Panthers took up arms to defend their community against injustice and, quite frankly, cold-blooded murder. J. Edgar Hoover could not let this happen. In this movie, Hoover was played by Martin Sheen. That's right, Ramon Antonio Geraldo Estevez himself. We all know his son, Charlie Sheen, which one of my favorite father and son movies is with Charlie and Martin on Wall Street. It's a classic movie. You should definitely check it out. I'm sure you probably have. But whatever happened to his other son, Emilio, the one who did not Americanize his immigrant Spanish heritage?
Emilio Estevez, the mighty Duckman. I swear to God, I was there.
Of course you were. You were the one who yelled the Breakfast Clubber's name.
I was like, Emilio!
Martin Sheen, by any name, is a freaking legend in this business. But I digress. This is not about the Estevezes. J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover was born in Washington, D.C. on January 1st, 1895. Capricorn. Upon completing high school, he began working at the Library of Congress and attended night classes at George Washington University Law School. Once he completed law school, he went to work for the Department of Justice in 1917 and rose very quickly. By the time he was 29, Hoover was made acting director of the Bureau of Investigation. By the end of that year, he was named director. Can we say ambitious? I think so. In the 1960s and early 1970s, the Bureau took on investigations in the field of civil rights and organized crime. The threat of political violence occupied many of the Bureau's resources, as did the threat of foreign espionage. In spite of Hoover's age and length of service, presidents of both parties made the decision to keep him at the helm of the Bureau. He was ruthless and unstoppable. Yet as Hoover was digging up dirt on presidents, spying and harassing civil rights leaders, he was also cross-dressing and carrying on an affair with Clyde Tolson, the FBI's number 2 man. But another rumor was that Hoover was black, or more accurately, a mulatto. Rumors of Hoover's black roots are not entirely new at all. It's been a rumor ever since he's been around. Novelist Gore Vidal told biographer Anthony Summers, who wrote the book Official and Confidential: The Secret Life of J. Edgar Hoover, that it was always said in his family and around the city of D.C. that he was a mulatto. People said he came from a family that had, quote-unquote, passed.
White.
Which was quite common in those days and probably now. If you looked white, then you're white. Especially in those days. Their family, if they could make that choice to do it, they would. Not all did, but some definitely did. This would explain his obsession with Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., and the Black Panthers. In the Black American community, all we have are family rumors. Our records do not exist or are destroyed. We are forever connected to our white overlords. So get your DNA done to add clarity to some of those family myths. Let's move on to Roy Mitchell. The FBI counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO, file contained details of the Bureau's attempts to expose, disrupt, and neutralize groups that J. Edgar Hoover perceived as threatening to national security. The material in this file, spanning COINTELPRO's existence from 1956 to 1971, is especially valuable for the view it offers of the U.S. political climate in the 1960s. The file is organized in sections that reflect the Bureau's interest, among them the Communist Party of the USA, Black nationals, quote, hate groups, and white, quote unquote, hate groups, the Socialist Workers' Party, and Cuban groups supporting Fidel Castro. Mr. Roy Mitchell developed an informant who infiltrated the Black Panther Party and ultimately supplied the floor plan that was used for the December 1969 police raid in which Panther leaders Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were slain. Mitchell had as many as 9 informants in the Black Panther Party before the controversial raid. His most significant was William O'Neill, a former teen car thief who became chief of security for the Panthers. Now, we said teen because I believe he was around 19 at the time, and Fred Hampton was, 21 or something? These were young guys who were running. These were kids who hadn't even made their 25th birthday. William enjoyed steak dinners like he was Cypher from The Matrix, but he quickly begins to realize that he's not the only black informant and that the FBI has a very tight leash on him. William committed suicide after his interview on the documentary PBS Eyes on the Prize 2, which was filmed 21 years after the events of this movie. Lakeith Anderson did not escape unscathed to his character's emotional plight. In recent interviews, Lakeith speaks of how he was adversely affected psychologically by portraying this character. He played a man who was in essence betraying his people and served as a direct accessory to the murder of Fred Hampton. The real O'Neill killed himself, presumably for these actions in his life, and Lakeith, as he delved into the research of the character, felt William's pain. Consequently, Fred Hampton was ambushed in his home and executed. I can go on and on about the history of the Black Panther Party, how they were killed, therefore silenced, and how the FBI played a direct role in that, but let's talk about the movie, finally. In a word, it was phenomenal. The acting was off the charts. We have already discussed that Lakeith Stanfield was so engrossed in the character that he had to get therapy to work through his effects and emotions. But this is more than a drama-filled historical political film. This is history. This happened. This was real, and it is factual. This is the history that was never taught in schools. We were taught that the so-called Indians, Native Americans, were so loving and giving that they accepted their conquerors with a turkey dinner. But you were never taught of the slaughter and carnage that was manifest destiny. You were taught that the slaves were better off and that their descendants are better off because they are actual citizens of the United States. They do not have to live in Africa with the famine and degradation. This is all a lie. The conquerors wrote history because there is no one left. Everyone else to speak the truth is long dead due to the slaughter. So the conquerors make themselves the heroes and the victims. They are the ones who built America on their own and by their own pain and sacrifice. Nothing was here until they arrived. They are the smartest, they are the geniuses who built all of civilization, but that is not true. Judas and the Black Messiah is the history lesson you should have gotten in the 4th grade. This movie is beyond a good watch, but is required viewing in your educational journey. But what did you think? How did you feel about the movie and Daniel Kaluuya and William O'Neill's portrayal of these historical figures? Make sure to leave a comment, subscribe, and like this video. It is the only way others will see and be able to join you in participating in the dialogue. Unless you want me to be demolished by the Viking overlords of the algorithm, make sure to share this video as well. Thank you, my enders. Be safe and stay true to history. Peace, 2 fingers.